If there's one thing silently sabotaging your Sunday roast, it's probably sitting in your cupboard right now. Real gravy is dark, glossy, and built from roasting tins and patience, not scooped from a plastic tub that smells faintly of regret. Somewhere along the line, that comfort got hijacked. Supermarket shelves filled up with aggressively brown powders and gelatinous liquids that promise warmth but deliver pure insult. Salty to the point of violence. Greasy in the most joyless way. Stuffed with cheap fillers pretending to be flavour. This isn't nostalgia talking, it's evidence. Labels, recalls, numbers they hoped nobody would read. Today's story is about 7 gravies, so catastrophically bad they deserve exile, and 3 rare ones that still respect your dinner. Number 7. OXO Gravy Granules. OXO is an iconic name thrown around British kitchens like it's the foundation of good roast dinner. But its gravy granules, while familiar, are a prime example of how convenience can slide into nutritional recklessness. On paper, this stuff looks innocuous. Potato starch, dried glucose syrup, beef fat, a chunk of salt, and flavour enhancers like MSG and disodium guanylate doing most of the heavy lifting. There's some yeast extract and dried beef bone stock for show, but beyond that, it leans on engineering rather than real cooking. The real eye-opener is the salt. Per 100 grams, this product clocks around 13.6 to 14.2 grams of salt, which is staggeringly high. That's comparable to the worst offenders on our list and dangerously aggressive once you factor in how generously people tend to use gravy granules. Yes, there are rave reviews online praising its classic flavour and ease of preparation, but ease doesn't excuse a product that treats salt like a seasoning kingdom with no rules. Taste can be rich. Nutritionally, it's a minefield. Familiarity shouldn't blind anyone to the fact that this is a gravy you have to handle with caution. OXO might be beloved, but that doesn't make it harmless. Quick note before we move on. If breakdowns like this help you shop smarter and avoid this kind of nonsense, subscribing keeps you in the loop. No pressure, just useful stuff, regularly. Number 6. Asda Extra Special Beef Gravy. Extra Special is doing a staggering amount of lying here. This gravy wants to feel premium. The name promises care. The packaging signals effort. The chilled shelf whispers freshness. But the second you read the label, the fantasy collapses. This is industrial gravy in a dinner jacket. Instead of depth, you get hydrolyzed proteins and flavor concentrates pretending to be richness. Instead of slow, savory build, you get palm oil smoothing things over and salt doing most of the shouting. The ingredient list reads like a lab exercise titled, "Make it brown and convincing." Pour a realistic amount, and the salt lands hard. And people do pour generously because this product invites trust. It looks safe. It looks thoughtful. It isn't. The psychology here is the ugliest part. Asda knows chilled equals quality in people's minds. So they take the same processed formula, add water, thicken it, chill it, and charge more. That's not improvement. That's theatre. Palm oil tags along too, bringing saturated fat and environmental damage for a few seconds of silkier texture. This isn't extra special, it's extra cynical. Number 5. Golden Fry Beef Gravy Granules. Golden Fry is the physical manifestation of low expectations. Nobody loves this gravy. Nobody defends it with any conviction. It survives in cupboards because it's cheap, familiar, and brown enough to pass inspection. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. The ingredient list is a masterclass in shortcuts. Starches for bulk, palm oil for mouthfeel, salt to do the shouting, MSG and disodium guanylate to fake depth, caramel colouring to make it look vaguely roast adjacent. This isn't helping you cook, it's manipulating your senses. The salt level is unapologetic, especially when used the way people actually cook. No measuring, just vibes. Heaped spoonfuls dumped in until it looks right. The result is gravy that's loud but empty, savoury without soul, filling without satisfaction. What really earns Golden Fry its place here is what it represents. Standards don't collapse overnight. They erode, quietly, through acceptance, through people saying, "It's fine." Fine becomes normal. Normal becomes the floor. Golden Fry doesn't destroy a meal dramatically. It corrodes it gently, and that might be worse. Number 4. Knorr Gravy Pots. Knorr's advertising encourages you to imagine a saucepan of slow-cooked gravy. That image isn't accurate. Despite the promise of comfort food, these gravy pots are a stabilized gel, a savory jelly structured with gelling agents, supported by yeast extract, lightly sweetened and heavily salted. The texture fools you at first. It feels rich, then it feels strange, too smooth, too uniform. Real gravy shifts as it cools. It has edges. This behaves like it was engineered to survive warehouses and reheating cycles, not dinner. The salt hits harder than expected, especially once you pour a confident amount, and these pots encourage confidence. Tear, tip, trust. That trust is misplaced. What stings most is the wasted potential. Knorr has the resources to do this properly. They choose not to. Instead, they sell convenience dressed up as care, letting additives do the work while the branding tells the story. It's not the worst gravy on the shelf. It is one of the most disappointing. Number 3. Colman's Instant Chicken Gravy. This one stings. Not because it's the worst, but because it feels like a betrayal you didn't brace for. Colman's has history. The yellow tin. The quiet assumption that someone once cared about balance and restraint. That trust is exactly what makes this gravy so insidious. It rides reputation while delivering something brutally lopsided. Independent salt testing pushed Colman's instant chicken gravy near the top of the sodium charts, and from that moment it stopped being comforting and started looking hazardous. This gravy doesn't complement food, it steamrolls it. Chicken disappears. Potatoes wave a white flag. Vegetables don't stand a chance. The salt isn't lifting flavour, it is the flavour. There's no nuance, no layered savoury note you can trace back to an actual bird. It hits the tongue like a blunt object, loud, crude, relentless. Powdered gravy also invites excess. 1 spoon becomes 2, then 3. Suddenly dinner's been drowned in something you'd never knowingly approve. The packaging doesn't warn you, it leans on nostalgia to do the work. And that's what makes this ugly. This isn't a struggling brand cutting corners. It's a household name cashing in trust and returning imbalance. Not the most dangerous gravy, easily one of the most disappointing. Number 2. Bisto Best Range. This is where restraint disappears completely. Bisto Best sounds reassuring, warm, earnest, like an upgrade. What it actually delivers is one of the most audaciously misleading products in the aisle. Start with the salt. More than 1.5 grams per 100 millilitres. That's firmly in high salt territory. No debate. A single serving quietly eats up a third of your daily allowance before the rest of the meal even arrives. Then come the flavour enhancers. MSG, disodium ribonucleotides. These aren't subtle accents. They're structural supports, holding up a sauce that lacks real depth. The vegetables are symbolic, the richness is engineered, the complexity is artificial. What truly earns Bisto Best its ranking is the price. This is sold as premium. You pay more expecting better. Instead, you get something saltier than the standard version and just as reliant on shortcuts. That isn't premium, that's exploitation with cleaner packaging. This range exists to make shoppers feel savvy while buying something nutritionally worse than cheaper options. It's an emotional upsell, not food. Calling it best takes nerve. Leaving it unchanged takes contempt. Number 1. Bisto Original Gravy Granules. This is the crown holder, the product that neatly summarises everything broken about supermarket gravy. Bisto Original isn't just bad, it's catastrophically, systemically awful. The dry granules contain over 14 grams of salt per 100 grams. 14. That isn't seasoning, that's a direct assault on your arteries. Even once prepared, the sodium hit is still obscene and nobody uses a careful spoonful. People drown plates in this stuff and call it comfort. Then there's the palm fat. Cheap, saturated, environmentally destructive. It's here for one reason only, to coat your tongue so the salt sticks around longer. That's the entire trick. The ingredient list reads like an industrial playbook. Starches to bulk it out, sugars to blunt the salt, artificial colouring to fake richness, flavour enhancers to convince your brain something meaty happened. It didn't. What makes this unforgivable is scale. This gravy isn't niche, it's everywhere, poured weekly in millions of homes. That turns a bad product into a public health problem. Bisto Original isn't comforting. It's corrosive. a cultural relic that should have been retired years ago. After that parade of salt and shortcuts, it's tempting to give up on gravy entirely. Don't. A few rare options actually show restraint, honesty, and basic respect for your dinner. Let's talk about the ones that won't ruin your dinner. 3. A gravy that actually tries. Tesco Finest Chicken Gravy. This is where the mood finally improves. Not dramatically, not magically, but enough that you can breathe again. Tesco Finest Chicken Gravy doesn't pretend to be nostalgic. It doesn't shout about tradition or wave a fake countryside flag. It just quietly does something radical for a supermarket product. It uses recognizable ingredients and doesn't drown them in salt. Read the label and it feels refreshingly adult. Chicken stock that actually exists. Onions, carrots, garlic, herbs, bay leaf, pepper. Nothing here is trying to hijack your taste buds. It lets flavor build instead of detonating all at once. Is it perfect? No. It still contains yeast extract and the salt level isn't exactly whisper quiet. But compared to the powdered chaos we've just walked through, this feels like a civilized conversation instead of a shouting match. You taste chicken first, then aromatics, then warmth. The salt supports the experience rather than dominating it. The texture also behaves like real gravy. It moves, it settles. It doesn't cling in that glossy, synthetic way that screams factory. And crucially, it doesn't punish you if you pour a little more than planned. This is the kind of product that proves supermarkets can do better when they choose to. No palm oil, no violent flavor enhancers, no illusion of depth built entirely on sodium. It's not exciting, and that's the compliment. 2. The compromise option, Bisto Reduced Salt Gravy. While its sister brands have landed on the do not buy list, this one exists for people who aren't ready to let go. And that's fine. Bisto Reduced Salt Gravy is not a miracle. It still carries some of the baggage of its louder siblings. There's palm fat. There are flavor enhancers. The ingredient list still reads like it was assembled with spreadsheets involved. But here's the crucial difference. Someone, somewhere, admitted there was a problem and did something about it. The salt content is cut significantly, not just symbolically, actually meaningfully. When prepared, it drops into a range that no longer feels reckless. You can pour it without immediately sabotaging your evening. That alone makes it miles better than the original version. And psychologically, that matters. People don't change habits overnight. They change them in stages. This gravy lets someone step down from the sodium cliff without feeling punished. The taste is familiar. The ritual stays intact. But the damage is reduced. Is it exciting? No. Is it refined? Absolutely not. But it stops actively attacking your food and your arteries, which already puts it ahead of most of the aisle. Think of this as harm reduction. It's the gravel path away from the cliff edge. Still imperfect, still flawed, but no longer openly hostile. If you must stay in the Bisto universe, this is the least destructive way to do it. The actual winner, Schwarz Classic Roast Gravy. This one beats almost everyone else by simply getting the basics right. Schwarz Classic Roast Gravy doesn't rely on childhood jingles. It doesn't claim to be a premium. It doesn't try to be clever. It simply does the basics properly and the results speak for themselves. The ingredient list is refreshingly restrained. No artificial colors. No added preservatives. No MSG doing gymnastics in the background. Herbs provide flavor. Spices do the work. Salt is present, but controlled. Each serving lands dramatically lower than the worst offenders we've talked about, and you can feel that immediately. The taste doesn't shout, it builds. It gives your roast room to exist instead of smothering it. Meat tastes like meat. Potatoes taste like potatoes. The gravy behaves like an accent, not a takeover. And here's the most important part. This still takes about 5 minutes to make. Convenience isn't sacrificed. You're not being asked to whisk bones for 3 hours or resurrect Victorian cooking habits. You're just choosing a product that isn't actively cutting corners at your expense. It proves something important. Bad gravy isn't inevitable. Excess salt isn't required. Chemical aggression isn't necessary. This brand shows that if flavor is allowed to come from real ingredients, everything else can calm down. After everything we've covered, Schwarz doesn't feel flashy. It feels honest. And in this aisle, that's the highest praise available. If this changed how you look at the gravy aisle, do your future dinners a favour and stick around. Subscribe for more honest breakdowns, share this with anyone still defending bad food, and check your cupboard before the next roast quietly suffers.